Hello, welcome to one of a series of virtual information videos. My name is Jordan Weibel. I am the Research Grants Program Lead. Today I'll be discussing with you DPR's Research and Alliance Grants programs and our purposes and priorities. Today we'll be going over the program goals, the differences between Alliance grants and Research grants, some examples of previously funded grants, who is eligible and how to apply, requirements for the proposal application, the application review process, and then the notification cycle for grant awards. DPR's grants program has a number of goals. First and foremost, DPR grants are intended to further integrated pest management knowledge and implementation in agricultural, urban, and wildland areas. DPR grants are for the benefit of Californians. This is an important facet to remember as you develop your proposal application. And grants are an important part of California's mission to accelerate the transition to safer, more sustainable pest management. For more information on this process, you're encouraged to review the Sustainable Pest Management Roadmap. This year, DPR's Research and Alliance Grants programs have priority topic areas. These include IPM for underserved or disadvantaged communities, decreasing the use of pesticides of high regulatory interest, advancement of urban IPM and safer, more sustainable pest management tools and strategies in urban settings, advancement of IPM and safer, more sustainable pest management tools and strategies in agricultural settings adjacent to or near a school, meeting the IPM needs of small growers, or two or more of the three sustainability pillars noted below and referenced in the Sustainable Pest Management Roadmap. These are human health and social equity, environmental protections, and economic vitality. Our research grants and our alliance grants programs do have importantly different goals. Our research grants program is for traditional research projects that seek to develop new IPM tools and practices. And these new approaches often manage a target pest that is of importance in California, and they can often lead to future alliance grants. Alliance grants, on the other hand, are a little more unique. They extend and implement known, effective, and affordable IPM practices. And notice how research grants are at that development stage. Alliance grants, these practices must be developed, known, effective. Often, these projects have diverse project structures, and they're notably conducted by a cooperative alliance team to maximize their reach and effectiveness. Research grants program goals are to advance IPM knowledge in agricultural, urban, and wildland settings. Projects should focus on reducing impacts to public health or the environment from pesticides of high regulatory concern or that are considered high risk. So as noted, these are traditional research projects and often conduct applied research. Basic research is allowed, however, the benefit of this research must be strongly justified. And again, it's good to tie that back to a benefit to Californians specifically. The Alliance Grant Program goals are to promote or increase the implementation, expansion, or adoption of proven, effective, and affordable IPM systems or practices that reduce risk to public health and the environment in agricultural, urban, and wildland settings. These are team-focused efforts, and they're meant to increase the use of known IPM methods, as mentioned prior. These can include things like trainings, area-wide cooperation efforts, direct outreach, and much more. So what exactly is an alliance team? This is a unique facet of our Alliance Grants program. It's a group of interested, invested stakeholders who have agreed to help implement and run the Alliance Grants proposed activities. So while these projects still have a single principal investigator helming them, the Alliance team plays a very important role in these projects. The best and strongest alliance teams incorporate diverse members from various affiliations to promote IPM and the broad application of the proposed IPM systems or practices. Further, if you'd like to learn more about alliances and alliance teams, consider reviewing the Building a Strong Alliance Team informational video. Here we have a selection of funded research grants to give a better idea of the diverse project structures that have been funded in the past. Things like best management practice development, evaluating novel toxicants, the development of better understanding of biology of invasive cockroaches, searching for alternatives to chlorpyrifos after its cancellation for sugar beet production, finding alternatives to pyrethroids and neonicotinoids in lettuce, working to evaluate the effects of previously installed design elements in affordable housing, and conducting a survey of biocontrol solutions for canker diseases in fruit and nut crops. Here we have a selection of funded Alliance Grants projects. These include working to increase the use of IPM in Hmong and Ayumin communities in the Sacramento and Fresno regions, development of an interactive training facility to assist in training structural pest management professionals in California, expanding IPM adoption among affordable housing providers, working to disseminate information and train citrus spray application using an expert system in California, increasing the adoption of IPM practices such as beneficial birds for pest control and managing pest birds in crop production, best management practices for non-herbicide approaches to invasive plant management, and bedbug IPM education for multi-unit housing. Who is eligible to apply for DPR grants? A really broad swath of people. Government and tribal agencies, universities, colleges, consultants, pest control businesses, commodity groups, nonprofit organizations, and more are all eligible to apply. No personnel may have outstanding fines or penalties with DPR or with any of the county agricultural commissioners, and applicants outside of California and outside of the U.S. are allowed. Applicants and team members must have the appropriate background and technical experience to complete the project. DPR employees notably are not eligible to receive funds or participate as part of the team, save for the grant manager who would participate as part of the Alliance team. The Pest Management Advisory Committee, its members, or their alternates involved in the applications must remember and abide by the conflict of interest requirements in their charter, and all applicants, principal investigators, key personnel, subawardees, subcontractors, and consultants must be eligible to contract with DPR. The project itself has a number of eligibility criteria. These include, as noted, first and foremost, that the project must primarily benefit the people of California. The funding requested must be within minimum and maximum funding limits, and check on those numbers as they change annually. In-kind contributions are allowed, and project goals and objectives must be clearly stated and directed towards the goals of the Research or Alliance Grants program. The project must demonstrate the economic feasibility of the project's IPM practices. The project must demonstrate efficacy for research grants or adoption for Alliance grants of the project's IPM practices. The project must focus primarily on research for research grants or outreach for Alliance projects. The project must not include activities directed toward, used to subsidize, DPR personnel, DPR work activities, or any DPR-funded work activities delegated to others, such as the county agricultural commissioners. The project must not mention, promote, or disparage a pest control brand or trade name in a deliverable, or use the image of a product in a deliverable. This is an important one. Remember to use active ingredient names instead. Finally, must abide by all the provisions of the applicable terms and conditions, which can be found on our website, and that includes overhead rates capped at 25%. And along with reviewing these terms and conditions yourself, we recommend that applicants have grant administration personnel also review all of the application materials, including the terms and conditions, before submitting your application. So, how can I apply for a grant? Go to our webpage at cdpr.ca.gov/DPR grants, where you can find links to Alliance and research grant pages containing application materials. There, complete a one-step proposal application, and return this proposal application to ipmgrants@cdpr.ca.gov. An outline of what your proposal application will contain can be found here. First, project information is followed by, in section 2, the proposal application questions, a short answer section. Section 3 includes the scope of work and budget, including separate Excel file budget table worksheets, letters of support, curriculum vitae, or resumes, pesticides or active ingredients likely to be affected by the project, pesticides or active ingredients to be used in the project, optional illustrative graphics, and key cited documents. First, project information. This contains basic project details, including the certification and submission statements. These are important to read carefully, and that again includes agreeing to the terms and conditions as part of the application, and ensure that your organization's contract or grant officer reviews this section for accuracy. Next is section 2, the proposal application questions. The responses to these questions determine 80% of the final project ranking. Be detailed and focus on the considerations found within the proposal application, and ensure that one or more of the priority topic areas are met. Section 3, the scope of work and budget. This determines roughly 20% of the final project ranking. Carefully read this section for all required information. There are a number of facets that are easy to miss. Especially in the budget, ensure all listed expenditures are allowable per the terms and conditions that are relevant to your organization. And as you're writing your goals, write goals that succinctly describe the proposal. And within those goals, frame the objectives, tasks, and deliverables that demonstrate how the goals will be met through the completion of the objectives and tasks. For more on these facets, please consider reviewing the scope of work, objectives, tasks, and deliverables informational video that contains a multitude of information on these topics. To calculate the values for the budget table in your application, use the provided budget tables worksheet, an Excel document available for download on our website that automatically calculates these budget values. Also, consider reviewing the budgets and budget justifications informational video for more on completing the budget tables worksheet, the budget table itself, and the budget justification. The letters of support. These should come from expected users or beneficiaries of the project's work, colleagues who could attest to the project team's abilities, or cooperating businesses or individuals such as growers or land managers. In general, it's important to attempt to find diverse letters of support that demonstrate the need and desire to see the project completed by stakeholders. Curriculum vitae or resumes. These are required for the principal investigator and key personnel. For the research and alliance team, they are optional but encouraged. And for paid personnel that are not key personnel, also referred to as non-key personnel, these are optional. The key cited documents. These documents are meant to frame the need for the project, and you must include full text PDFs of any documents you choose to include. This is up to 5 documents in total. These can include things like scientific papers, journal articles, or news reports, but many more types of documents are acceptable. Again, generally, these documents should frame the need for the project and demonstrate the likelihood of efficacy for the research grants or adoption for alliance grants, and any economic feasibility arguments that are intended to be made. A list of pesticides and active ingredients. Now note that 2 lists must be included if they are relevant to your project. The pesticides or active ingredients that are potentially impacted by the project, and again, remember that demonstrating a change in high risk or high concern pesticide usage is a very important part of both the research and alliance grants projects. And then any pesticides or active ingredients intended for use in the project. And this is the one where some projects may not include this second list. Make sure the list includes any target pesticides from those high-risk or high-concern groups noted, and do not use trade names. Optional illustrative graphics. If included, these graphics should represent the project structure or concepts, and could be things such as plot layouts, novel engineered apparatuses, pictures of habitats, flowcharts, or much more. But do not rely on these graphics for any specific part of the application, such as the scope of work or answers to questions 1 through 4. These graphics should only enhance the proposal and should not be a necessary portion of your application. The proposal review process plays out after an initial screening step by DPR staff. Proposals are reviewed and ranked by DPR's internal reviewers and Pest Management Advisory Committee, or PMAC, reviewers concurrently. PMAC is a diverse stakeholder body that assists DPR in identifying and promoting IPM practices that reduce the risk of pesticide use, public health, and the environment. It's made up of a very diverse group, and this group does directly review your applications and convenes meetings to discuss their recommendations quarterly. These meetings will be held in the early spring for research grants and late spring for alliance grants. DPR's director then selects projects based off the combined rankings of PMAC and DPR's internal reviewers to ultimately make their selections. Once DPR's director has selected projects, then the notification process begins. DPR staff will notify applicants via email of either an award or non-award decision. Successful applicants will be invited to draft grant agreements, and unsuccessful applicants are provided with feedback on the merits and concerns found in their proposal applications, with the hope that they will use this to develop an improved application and consider submitting to a future round of funding. Research applicants are notified annually in April, and alliance applicants are notified annually in June. To learn more or to apply, please visit our website at cdpr.ca.gov/dprgrants or send us an email at ipmgrants@cdpr.ca.gov.